Listen, does the thought of posting on social media just make you want to light your hair on fire and run away? If so, I get it. I'm the same way. I do not like social media, but we all know that it's a necessary evil, quote, for the benefit of the business and the practice. So in this episode, I'm going to show you a super simple way that you can create some social posts just to get your name out there. I'm going to show you how to do this with AI, and that's going to make your life so much easier. So in an hour-ish a month, you're going to have all the social posts you need for the whole month, and you're going to be able to schedule and post, walk it. It's the old set it and forget it model. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Rhonda, your no fluff, tell it like it is business bestie for wellness practitioners just like you who want to build a practice you love and make a bigger impact and a little money while you're at it. So if you're ready to ditch the overwhelm, attract your dream, ideal patients, and finally run your practice with complete confidence, you're in the right place. Each week, we're tackling things from programs to patient retention to marketing strategies that actually work, sprinkled, of course, with a little sass, a lot of heart, and the step-by-step strategies that will help you get there. So grab your cup of coffee, your notebook, or whatever keeps you going, and let's build a practice you love and a life you love together. If you hate social media as much as I do, I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I really don't like it. I don't like anything about it. I don't like that they track you. You and I could probably, if we were sitting down having coffee, we would probably talk all kind of trash about social media and be completely justified in doing all of it. But unfortunately, as a business owner, it's where people look for you. And people that don't hate social media as much as we do, they look there. They want to see if you're alive, if your business has a heartbeat. And if your practice is like the last post that you made was a year ago, I'm telling you, friend, it's not a good look for you. It is not a good look for you. It doesn't look like you're alive, you're well, you're doing anything. So whether you like it or not, this is a necessary evil. We want to call it that. So in this episode today, I want to create kind of a simplified plan because I know for me, A, that's how my brain works, but B, if it's simple and easy, then I'm far more likely to do it. If I can put some structure in place and create like a system so I know exactly what to do each time. It's the first step 1, do this, then step 2, do this, then step 3. And then when I follow the plan or follow the recipe, at the end, I have the output that I want. I'm all in. I'm the best rule follower there ever was. So what we're going to talk about is the three really kind of, we'll call them content pillars. That's what someone else I know refers to it as that. And, she talks about the content pillars, and it's not an uncommon theme, but I want you to think about the types of things that you might want to talk to your audience about. Now, listen, before I go any further, let me say, what I'm teaching you to do here is I'm not teaching you to go viral. I'm not teaching you that. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is helping you get your digital online social presence nailed down so that if someone does come and look for you on social media, it doesn't look like you're dead or gone. Or if you are posting regularly, let's maybe think about how we can be more intentional about the type of content that we're posting. So the first thing we're going to think about are these kind of 3 categories or pillars or concepts around content that I want you to consider. Then we're going to talk about writing a hook because a hook is so important. It's the scroll stopper. When you're going through your feed and you see something that catches your eye, start asking yourself, if you're on social, ask yourself, what made me stop and look at that? It's a great question to ask because you'll start to see the things that appeal to you. They get you. But there's other things, how you just scrolling, it's like boring. Nope, next, scroll. And then all of a sudden something catches you. That's what we want to do with your posts is we want to create like a scroll stopping type of a post, right? Someone goes, what? Like, what's happening over here? What are they talking about? I think I might be interested. Those are the people that we want to attract to our social media. And then of course we're going to loop in our friend Chatty because we have to. It makes it a lot easier. Chatty is not the end-all be-all, and you can't rely on ChatGPT or other AI tool to write the post for you because otherwise it's not going to sound like you. It's going to be funny. It's not 100%. It's about, get you to the 70-yard line, really. It's about 70% of the deal. And then The rest of the 30%, you have to give it the idea, the topic, and then you have to finish it at the end. But you can let, Chatty do some of the heavy lifting. And then I'm going to show you how to keep it consistent so you don't burn out and you can kind of stay on a roll. That's what I was talking about with the system. All right, you ready? Let's start with these 3 content pillars. There's actually 4. I put a 4th one in because I couldn't help myself. But there are 3 basic and then an extra. So here they are. The first type of content that I want you to think about is just educational content. Okay, so as a wellness practitioner, you're going to be thinking about content that has to do with their life. So, for instance, it might be, ever wonder why your energy crashes at 3 p.m. and what you can do instead? Okay, that was a hook if you didn't get that. So what can you do to just give them informational, educational content, something that they don't know about themselves or about their health, but they might want to know. You ever wonder why your energy crashes at 3 p.m.? I'm going to tell you why. Now that to me, if I was tired and my energy was crashing and I'm a Starbucks freak and I always leave my job and I head over to Starbucks for my mid-afternoon coffee, that might appeal to me. Those are the types of people that you may want in your practice. It might be something like 3 reasons your bloating isn't related to your food or isn't related to your diet, or my favorite test for hormones and it's not blood. So someone might go, what? She's not using blood? What? Do you get what I'm saying here? This is a hook. This is a hook, but you can see that the hook is leading to some educational content. You're going to educate them about saliva testing. You're going to educate them about the reasons that you might be bloated. You're going to educate them about energy crashes in the afternoon and blood sugar, etc. You're going to talk about sleep. You're going to talk about whatever it is in your practice. If you have an autoimmune practice, you're going to talk about some of that. And it doesn't have to be all autoimmune or all energy or all fatigue or anxiety. But those are things that just the general public, maybe they definitely don't know. And you want to be that person that's giving content that's relevant. And that's all relevant. Okay, so there's educational content. That's the first one. Second type of content is inspirational content. So you can't just educate and educate and educate because at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel a certain way, and we want to feel happy, feel smart, feel empowered, feel excited. So how can you use inspirational content to do that with your audience? So we want to really essentially build emotional connection with them. What we're trying to do is to make your audience feel like you get them. You want them to feel seen and heard, hopeful, understood, that they walk away and they go, yeah, she gets me. She knows exactly what these hot flashes feel like. If you're just writing about vasomotor variations, nobody's going to listen to that. You want to write about hot flashes and feeling like you're, somebody lit you on fire on the inside and there is no fire extinguisher. That's what it feels like. So you want to talk about the things, but inspire them to know that you get them. So it might be something like, you're not broken. Your body's just out of alignment, and that's completely fixable. Do you see how that's building trust? It's building connection. It's helping you to let the reader know that you get them. You're inspiring them that it's fixable. We can handle it. There's no problem here. You could say something like, I see women every day who think it's normal to feel exhausted, but it's not. Do you see how that makes that woman reading that post feel like you really see them? You get them. And you also gave her hope. It's not normal. I shouldn't feel exhausted all the time. And then the rest of your post describes whatever your secret sauce is, how you can help them or why it's not normal. Maybe it's something about a success story. I love sharing cases. I recommend them all the time. Just say, I had a lady today, she'd had anxiety for over 30 years. And within 30 days, we reduced it by 75% because anxiety doesn't have to be your new normal. I'm literally making this up on the fly. So don't judge me if my off-the-fly ones are not as great as they sometimes give me. Okay, but you get the point. You're addressing and giving them hope that you see them, you get them through the eyes of a patient that you worked with. And then you could always put quotes or, other kinds of things, nudges, gentle ways that they can take care of themselves that are really going to help. So inspirational. We want to build an emotional connection and let them know that they're not alone. The third one is promotional. And just like the word says, this is how we're going to let them know that they can work with you. Now, I think sometimes the feedback that I get a lot of times from practitioners, especially when I see posts and they're like, well, I don't know how to share online. Do I just keep say book a call, schedule an appointment, schedule a free call? Well, friend, if that's all you're saying, people are going to tune you out because it's kind of like, think about it I don't know why this popped into my mind. I'm just going to say it. I might get into trouble, but so if you have a family member that's always has their hand out, or a child even, but sometimes kids need it, but let's say a family member or an adult child, they just have their hand out. I need this. Can you help me? I need money, or I need you to fix my car, or I need, you're a parent of adult children. You have a needy, hand out. Their hand is out all the time. Gimme, 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 gimme. In order for that to not feel slimy, that adult child, in my analogy, has to be able to contribute something back. So instead of just saying, I need, maybe that adult child says, well, what can I give you? Let me give you something in exchange for the ask. And that's why those other two content pillars are so important, the educational and the inspirational. You're giving and you're giving and you're giving. And then once in a while, when you put your hand out and you go, hey, this is how we can work together. It's not slimy. It's not salesy. It doesn't feel like you're asking for something that hasn't been reciprocated with a lot of value. So yes, scratch that earlier analogy. I don't think that actually worked very well, but in my mind it did. But you get what I'm talking about. So when you start to create these posts that are promotional, you can just keep it really simple, very clear, very direct. And you just say, listen, if you're ready to get help with your digestion, I have 3 spots available this month. Send me a DM or call my office or send an email, however you want them to communicate with you. But if you're ready to get help with your digestion, or I'm running a spring allergy reset program, message me if you want in. Or you could say, are you curious about an alternative way to test your hormones? One that your doctor will never use. Schedule a 15-minute call and I'll explain. Free 15-minute call. Something like that. You're basically very nicely asking them, listen, I have something. Is this of interest to you? If it is, I would love to chat with you. It's not salesy. It's not slimy. It's not anything. But here's the kicker. These promotional posts, I would suggest that you don't post a promotional, but every maybe 4th or 5th post. Does that make sense? So let's say you're going to do an educational, an inspirational, another couple of educationals, and then a promotional post. That would be your schedule. So you might want to do 2 educational, 1 inspirational, 2 educational, and then a promotion post. So that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to do these all the time because then people get tired and they're like, and I'm out. Now here's the 4th one because I can't help it. It's just who I am. I call this the just for fun and just because type of post. And I think that there's value in this. I mean, I love to have fun. I'm a happy person by nature. I'm honest. I'm a little sarcastic sometimes, but always with so much love. But the just because and just for fun posts, these just build connection because we are just humans experiencing a human experience together as humans. So what is it in my human life that makes you feel like your human life is okay too, and we're kind of together in this? So it might be like a picture of me, having my coffee, if you're watching on video, I've got my coffee right here. Can you hear it? And it's iced coffee. You acupuncturists don't come back to me about ice in the morning. I don't want to hear it. I know already. Anyway, I love iced coffee. So there's something about just being a real human. Like I just told you, I've got my coffee. It's iced. I love it. Sometimes I don't even drink the whole thing, but it's just, how coffee is kind of like the thing that we do. But you could show a just because post could be your garden or your bookshelf or, something that you're doing, like showing that you're reheating your coffee for the 3rd time that morning. But your goal is just to build connection. It's light. They're easy. They're fun. You're maybe just talking about, I got in an argument with my spouse this morning and I realized that I was completely wrong. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but do you ever have those moments when you just kind of get on a bandwagon and you just have a moment and you're just mad about something and then it just gets out of control and then you have to say you're sorry? Yeah, that's what happened to me today. Do you see that kind of post? People will lean into that. Because kind of like seeing an accident on the freeway, we ooh, what kind of train wreck do they got going on over there? Why do we look? Because it makes us feel better. My life doesn't feel like such a train wreck when I can look into your life, but it builds connection. I know it's kind of sick and twisted, but it's just how we're wired. So when we can build those types of things that create shared experience, I suppose, but shared online, it really does help cement the credibility and the trust and all of that stuff with your audience so that they look at you and they say, yeah, she's my kind of person. She's real like me. She's not some stuffy doctor that's going to come in and talk all, well, we're going to fix your endocrine system. This is how we're going to. No one wants to deal with that. Just let your guard down and just be a human. So those are the 4 types of posts. Now, let's talk for a minute about hooks. So with that first type of post, when I was talking about educational posts, I kind of gave you some hooks, but basically a hook is something that just grabs their attention. That's the scroll stopping part. And AI, I will say AI, whatever AI you use, really great at helping you create hooks. So you could provide the topic. Let's say you say, I would like to talk about the risks of being on a PPI longer than 6 weeks. Please create 5 sexy hooks about this topic and just see what happens, right? See what happens. Chatty might come back to you with something amazing and it might be crappy. And if it's crappy, you say, that is definitely not on point. Please try again, give it more context, and then see what you get. But Chatty or whatever AI you're going to use, Chatty, by the way, if you don't know, is short for ChatGPT. But whatever AI you use, it's great at creating hooks. So you want to create a hook that provides like an outcome. What is it that they want or a question that they have? So like, for instance, are you tired no matter how much you sleep? Read this or watch this. And then maybe it's a video of you. Or you could talk about like, no, PMS is not normal. It might be common, but it's not normal. Here's why. For someone who has PMS, they're like, ooh, saucy, what's going on? That's your hook. That's the hook that makes them want to stay and continue to read your content or watch a reel or whatever it is. It could be like your gut might be the cause of your anxiety. And here's why. And then you go on, talk about it. Whatever floats your boat, whatever your, niche, your the thing that you're passionate about that you want to talk about. So then the next thing is we've got kind of our pillars of content. We've got the importance of a hook. Now we're going to use Chatty or some kind of AI to help us batch the content. So here's how you do it. When you sit down to batch the content, you first have to have content ideas, and that you can also do with ChatGPT. But I always say, lean into what your patients are talking to you about. What are they saying? What are the questions that they ask? And if you have a certain type of patient that you really love to work with and that you want more of, that doesn't mean that you can't work with everyone. That's fine. But who do you want to talk to? Because if you don't know who you're talking to, how are you going to create content? You're just going to say, hey, everyone, I want to talk to you today about wellness. Boring. That is not a scroll stopper, friend. Everybody's going to pass you right up. And then you're like, well, my social doesn't work. Well, it's because you're not speaking to one person. So we want to talk to that one person's pain point. So when you're using AI, you got to use it the same way. You're going to say, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about upper digestion, including bloating, heartburn, reflux, PPIs. Just give ChatGPT or whoever, give AI a bunch of ideas about maybe a topic that you want to talk about for your posts that week. And you could do 2 to 3 posts. It's fine. You could do 1 if you want to, but a couple is good, 2 or 3. But just tell Chatty, this is what I want to talk about this week. Here's kind of the theme I want. And just have a conversation. I think people interact with AI and they are stiff, but just be conversational. Just say, I'm kind of dumb. I always say please and thank you, which it makes no sense. But I'll say, good morning. I'm here because today I want to create some topics for a blog post. And here are some of the ideas that I had. Based on what you know, please give me feedback about these ideas or make a recommendation for something different. The same thing. I would like to create some social media posts around this topic of like heartburn, reflux, and the use of PPIs or acid blockers, whether prescribed or over the counter. And I want to talk about why they're not good for you, what they do that's bad, and what the alternatives are. And I think one of the best alternatives is bitters. So you might just type that whole thing out to ChatGPT and then just say, okay, now could you come up with 3 to 5 really compelling, sexy hooks about that topic, and then let AI do the work. So the hooks come back and you go, I actually like numbers 1, number 2, and number 4. So then your next step is to say, okay, thank you so much. I love numbers 1, 2, and 4. Could you please create the social post that goes with each one of those using that hook? And then let AI do its thing. And it'll come back and it'll spit out a social post with you. And I have to say, AI does love using emojis in social posts. And I think it's a little overkill myself, but that doesn't mean that you can't edit them out. But you'll get copy back for that social post, and it's going to be 70, 80% right. So then you're going to copy and paste that, put that in a Word doc or put that in a Google Doc or in Airtable or Asana or however you manage your content. Even an Excel sheet works. In fact, just use that. Put the date and the hook and the post. And then if you're going to create a graphic to go with it, you can do that. But the most important thing is that you're posting. That's my most important thing, is that you're just posting. So you're going to get that social post back and you'll say, that's pretty good. And you read it and you kind of tweak it a little bit. You might take a word out or replace a word that might be more native to your, language style. And that's how you get those social posts done. It's just that easy. And if you don't like the 3 that Chatty gave you, then say, I don't like these. Please redo that. This is what I don't like. Always say, this is what I don't like. This is what I was thinking that it would be more like X. And then describe that. And then let it try again. AI will continue trying for you forever. Like there's an endless amount of communication. That's why I say Chatty. So you can have these conversations back and forth with the AI that you're using until you finally get a social post that's got good bones. And then you just tweak it to make it work for you. Now that you have these 3 social posts, and the first few times that you do it, it's going to take you a bit to get to those 3 social posts. But once you kind of get the framework down and the language and your AI model starts to kind of understand you a little bit better, now you've got your posts. So then you just go copy and paste and put them right into social media. Listen, if you want to create a graphic in Canva, do it. Just do it. But you don't have to. You can just create a post just to start on your business page or on your personal page, or you can post it on your personal page and share it into your business page. You can share your business page onto your personal page. There's lots of ways that you can do it, but just post. That's in Facebook, of course. And then just post, just get it out there. And then if you're really feeling spicy, just once you have your social post written, then prop your camera up in a windowsill so that you've got good light and say it to the camera. And now you've got a reel. Literally, you don't have to do anything super fancy. Don't let the social media influencers make you feel bad, because they do. They make you feel subpar because their videos are all polished and they have transitions and things flying in and out. And I think it's fine for those people that have that type of audience. But for you and me, we just want to connect with our people. That's all. We just want to connect with them. And I don't think that having all of that sassy sass on a post is the thing that's going to make someone stop. What makes them stop and watch is the hook. And then followed by the rest of the content. So the content has to be educational, inspirational, promotional, or just for fun, just because. You have variety in your content, and then you do an ask every once in a while. It's no big deal. You're good. You got this. And people will just start to say, gosh, I really like this guy. Now, just as a side note, before we land the plane here, Reels will always go out to people who are new to you. Your posts, if you're on Instagram, a post is going to show to the people that you are already in your audience. So if you want to nurture your audience, then use posts. If you want to get to new people, then use Reels. The other thing you can do is I know I'm getting in the weeds here. I know it's a lot. The other thing you can do is once you get the copy of the social post right, take a minute and read it out loud and see if it feels right to you. If it does, then you can just hit the record button on your phone and record it. Just record it. And then you can overlay. I know that sounds complicated to those of you who aren't techie, but there's a real easy way to do it. You can find a video in Instagram, because Instagram is video based. You can find a video in Instagram, and then it's like of water or someone walking or out in the field or the sky or the view out in there, random, like just a video of something. And you can just read it right over the top. That way it has your inflection. It has your your tone, your heart, your passion comes through. And you can just read your post if you don't want to get on a video reel. There's lots of reels that don't have faces. It's called B-roll, but it's just a video, a background B-roll video. And it could just be your voice right over the top. Or if you don't think you have a good voice, run that B-roll video and just put the caption of it over the top. There's so many ways to do it. And I can't get into all of them here. I probably went deeper than I needed to. But the point is, I don't want it to stop you from posting. If you are like, I don't get the tech, it's really easy. You can copy and paste text and put it down in as a post. You can totally do that. You've got this. So there you go, friend. That's what I have for you this week. You do not need to be an influencer. You do not need to be all polished. It's okay if I make mistakes when I talk about these podcasts all the time. I am the queen of run-on sentences. I start a sentence and then I go off and start another sentence. I don't care because it's just who I am. I just have to be me and you have to be you. So don't let those other fancy people influence you. You just get on and do you. You want to provide educational content, inspirational content, just because content, and then every fourth or fifth post, do a promotional. So you just say, here's how you can work with me. And the rest of the time, you're just loving on them. You're giving them back, giving. Unlike your ungrateful child who always has his hand out, but you're giving. And then when you put your hand out and say, hey, would you like to work with me? People are much more likely to reciprocate and say, yeah, I actually do. I like what you're saying. I agree with you. And I do want to work with you. This is why it's so important that you know who you're talking to. You have to talk to that one person. So there you go. Start with one post, get one hook, make one small connection with someone who needs to hear what you have to say, and the rest will be history. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. But before you go, wait. Don't forget about the Female Hormone Seminar. It is coming up fast. It's just in a few weeks. It's happening on Saturday, April the 19th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. So mark that down on your calendar. It's going to be a live virtual seminar. I'm going to teach one of my very favorite topics. And if you can't attend live, I get it. No problem. There will be 2 weeks of replay access that you'll have, and I'll give you a step-by-step breakdown and a little cheat sheet that tells you how to interpret these tests. All you have to do to register is go to rondanelson.com/female hormones 2025. That's rondanelson.com/female hormones 2025. If you are tired of feeling overwhelmed when you're staring at a saliva test or a serum test and you think, I don't even know what to make of these numbers, I got you. Join me for the webinar. You'll feel super confident by the time you're done. And if you'd like, you can join me for an extra 2-hour private session. You can add that on at checkout. And during that session, I'm going to be breaking down more case studies, talking about how I actually create these treatment protocols and how to get these female patients up and running back to normal self as quickly as possible. So go to rondanelson.com/female hormones 2025, and I will see you there.